Hi guys. So in today's video, I will assume that you already created the login and the logout functions. Let's revise the code together quickly. So we already inside our index.js, we included or we imported Express, we imported MySql. We imported also .env file to be able to save our secret files. Also, we imported path to set up the path of or to tell the Node.js where to get the .env file, and to set up also the where to get the static pages that we already created, which is in our project we created only the style.css. Okay, and then we created the cookie parser in order to this one you should do it yourself. This is because we want to set up a cookie when we log in, or when the user log in. We need to set up a cookie and put his login data inside this cookie, and then we created a server. We created a connection with the database, and then we included, as I said, our middleware that is responsible for parsing incoming requests. This one and this one, and I included a brief description about this function or middleware. And we made sure to use the JSON, which is another middleware to be able to parse the JSON files that the application sends for the user data when they log in or log out or even register. And we set up also the templating engine that we are going to use inside our project, which is HBS. In here, we created a connection with the database, and we made sure that our database is connected. We also, these are all inside our index.js. We also made sure that to define the routes and tell our application whenever you go to the home page, go get the pages routes from where? From a route from a file called pages inside routes folder. So inside routes folder, we create another file where we set up our routes. And whenever we want to log in or register, we should get the authentication from the file called auth inside routes, also this one. And lastly, we use this lesson method to show that we already are connected to the database. So let's see what we included inside our pages. Inside our pages, we imported we required or imported Express. We created a variable where we're gonna use the router of the Express, and then we created a variable, the auth controller. What is this auth controller? Is another middleware where we are going to get it from a file called auth inside controllers folder, which is here. And inside this auth inside controllers, we're gonna define this middleware. And then we created a router, or we created a router for our index to render the index page. For this one, I will tell you today. Today, we're gonna speak about this one in today's video. So we created a router for index for our index. So whenever a user clicks on the home page, we should show the index page, this one. And whenever the user clicks on the register page, which is this one, we should render the register page, this one. And whenever the user login or click on login page, we should render the login page, which is this one that you have to create it. It's let me tell you something. It's almost similar to this one, but without the name, without the confirmed password. We only need an email and a password to log in. So it's a copy of this. You just need to remove the name and the password. Okay, and we should make sure to include this module.export equals to router to run all of these codes or routes. And now inside, as you can see, like, let's go back to the JS. We said, so wherever we want to authenticate, we should go to the the file called auth inside routes. So let's go to this one. So in this one, as I said, we imported Express, we imported the router, okay, and we created the variable that auth controller is, which is to go to authentication file whenever to authentication file inside controller inside this one when we want to use this middleware auth controller. So to define our routers, to use the router, we should use this method post, if you can see that, and then get. So let's speak a little bit about these methods, the post, gets. Actually, if you heard about RESTful API, these are what we call these are the methods that we use in RESTful API. Let me show you something. You know that this RESTful API stands for Representational State Transfer Application Program Interface. So whenever we are speaking about connection between two applications or two ends, like this, the client side and the server side, and you remember that if you want to transmit data between the client side and the server side, we use special methods, which are the get, post, put, patch, or delete. If we want to use get is to retrieve data from the server. We use post to create data. For example, when we register, we are creating a new user. So that's why we use post in order to do that. Put and patch used to update data. For example, if you want to change your name or email address inside an application, so the code responsible for that is put or patch. And if you want to delete your user information, so you use delete method in REST API. So where is the REST, or how we use RESTful API applied? Where is it applied? Where did we use it inside our code? So inside, for example, in the registration, in our Node.js project, when the user register, we say that router.post, right? So whenever the user clicks on register page, what we should do, we should create a data, we should post here. So we are creating a new resource for the user account. So that's why we used post method with the endpoint register. So you know that in RESTful API, we should define an endpoint and the method. So here it is. We say that post, and the endpoint, our endpoint here is register. Also inside the login, when we want to log in, we use post here to log in. Actually, not to create data, but it's usually also post used because we want to transmit securely or send securely sensitive data like the username or the password. So that's why we used post whenever the user login or click on login page. We use the post to transmit the username and password to the server, or the hash password, I mean, to the server, so that we can compare the user, the email with the email, the entered email with the email inside the database or in our database, and the hash password also with the hash password inside the database to log in the user. So that's why, as I said, we used post, we used get, and we use post in both the register and login, and we use get inside log out. By the way, we should here create the logout page, but it is empty. Why? Because in here, in our inside our pages. Let's go here. So inside here, we said whenever the user clicks on logout, so if we did not create a logout page here, we will not be able to call this page or the function. So we should create a logout page, though it is empty. There's nothing inside it. Okay. So I hope that you did it this way. And now let's go to auth.js inside controller and check what we are doing inside. So inside auth.js, which is inside controller, it is the place where we create all of our functions, like the login function, the register function, the logout function. So we inside the auth.js, we required, or we imported the MySql, because we are going to use queries inside the register and the login. And also we imported the JWT, the JSON Web Token, to be able to create tokens. And we also we imported the bcrypt to be able to import, to be able to use or to create encryptions or hashing for our password. And after that, we should import, we imported the database. We created a connection of the database, of our database in this section. So I will revise these functions with you in case one of you was stuck inside these functions. So we talk about, I will not repeat again the register function. I will do the login. I will do the login with you, and I hope that you did it this way. So to create the login function, we should export a login. Okay, and then async require a request response. We create a function with a request and response, and inside it we are trying to see what? We are trying to get the email and the password from the login form. Let's go here to the login. By the way, this is how the login form should look like. Since it's similar to the register, you only have to remove the confirm password and the name and keep the email and the password. So So let's continue. So let's get the email and the password from the body of the form, and what? And check if there's no email and no password. What should happen? Return a response that it's not working. It's there's an error. It's not found, and then load the same login page and show a message like, please provide an email and a password. So let's try to test this one. So if if the user is trying to log in without an email or a password, we should show them a message that please provide an email and a password. And then we should create a query. In this query, we're going to select all this star means all the fields from the table users and get the email where the email value is question marks. This is to protect from SQL injection, and create an array and get the email value. Okay, and create another function with an error and result, and check if the result, if there is no result, I mean like if there is no email, like you see here, we got the email and the password. If there was no email or the decrypted password, we are here, we compare, try to compare the, you see here, we enter a password, for example, here inside the password field, and then we hash it and try to compare the password, the password of this user, which is inside result 0. Let me show you what do I mean by this. So let's go to the to our database. Okay, so inside our database we have this table, the table users. Here we have the table users. Inside the table users we have so many entries. So we took the email and the password that we entered inside this form, and then what happens? Check if there is no email, or if the provided email here, the provided email is not inside one of these entries, and the hashed password, or I mean like not and or the hashed password that you entered inside the form, inside this form here, is not similar to what is stored here in the database. Okay, so render a page, keep the user inside the same page and show him a message that email or password is incorrect. We said here or because we want to tell if there's any other user trying to access or to log in using your email. We don't want to tell him which is the wrong, is it the email or the password? And else what? Get the ID of this user. Like let's say if there is a value, like this here, if there is no value, but else if there is a value, I mean in the database, let's say we chose this cc at something.com, exclude this all the details of this entry or this email, and get the ID of this email, of this user, of this result, get the ID, and create a token. Create a token and use a token inside it. We're going to create a JSON web token with using the gwt.sign method to what I will pass inside. I will pass the ID, what's inside this token, the ID of this user, and the process.env GW .gw secret. What is this? It is the super secret password that we created for the token. And we should include it here inside this one, inside the .env file. We create a token and we call it the my super secret password, and we set here an expiry time for this token, which is usually it takes 90 days to get expired, and then set up a cookie expiration date, which is a day or period, which is 90 days also. Let's go back to our function here. So we create a cookie, a token. Inside it, there is a JSON web token, and we passed through it the ID and the password key. And we set a password. We set here expiry date for this token, and in here we are showing that show me this token, because this one only for the purpose of testing, okay? And after that, we created a cookie option. This cookie option, let's say that will store, this cookie option will store the GWT inside it. And then in here, we set up an expiry date. For this expiry time, we should convert this 90 days into milliseconds. So to convert into milliseconds, we multiply it by 24 hours, multiplied by 60 minutes, because each hour has 60 minutes, and then multiplied by 60 seconds. And in each second, there is 1,000 milliseconds. So in this function here, we set up an expiry date in milliseconds. And then after that, we set the cookie to HTTP only, which means that the cookie cannot be accessed or manipulated by a client-side JavaScript. This is to help by enhancing the security of our application and to prevent the cross-site scripting that the XSS. They cannot steal our cookie settings. And after that, if everything is okay, then redirect the user yes, to the profile page. Okay, and since we are using try here, try, and with try comes catch. So if there is anything, if there is any error, okay, try to show me this error here inside the terminal so that I will be able to check and fix my mistakes. This is the login. This is the login function. And let's go again to the logout. Console exports.logout. So in this logout function, we create async function with the request and the response. And what will happen? So whenever we click on logout, we get on the logout page here. Here, it will appear when only login, when we only login. So go and create. You know that we stored our user data inside a cookie here, right? So whenever this logout clicked, go and end the cookie. So expire the cookie and give it a new date, which is from now in 2 seconds, in 2 milliseconds. So in 2 seconds or milliseconds, the cookie will be expired. And then redirect the user to the home page. So these are the functions that we should create together. I hope that you did it this way. Now let's go and test the function, our application. So let's click on login, and I will provide here Selma at something at Gmail. Okay, then login. Okay. Well, this is the profile page that that the user should get or should be directed to when they logged in, when they log in. And I provided you with this style or this design with this page without the table here, the user data here. So this section you will do it by yourself. So let's see here inside our terminal. So as you can see that in here, this is the user data JSON file we created. This is the JSON file that or the token, the JSON token that contains user data, that this data will be sent by using RESTful API methods, which are like either the post, the get, or the delete, or the patch, or whatever the method you choose to use. These are this is the data of the data package that is stored inside the token, and our token is this set of strings, and this is the user ID, or the logged in user ID, the name, email, and password. And okay, so as I said, let's say what else. So when your job now, since that we revise the login and the logout, you will be able now to easily create them. Make sure to create this page. I already provided you with the page here. This is the code of the page. And this is the profile HPS, but in here I didn't provide you with a table that contains the user data. And what else? Now let's go to our index.js. Sorry, index.hbs, and if you can see that here, when I let me log out, you can see that when I log out, or when the user is logged out, you can see that home, the menu is home, register, and login. So let me log in here, and I'm at something, and let's log in here. Here is showing us that your password is weak. You should is one of the hashed or one of the weakest passwords on earth. So close it. So you can see that the menu changed to home, profile, logout. This one and the other detail, you will be able to use them or to get them when you create the let's say the isLoggedIn function. What is this isLoggedIn function? You will create it yourself, okay? Let me log out here. isLoggedIn function is a function that makes sure that the user is logged in, and it makes sure that the user is logged in, and protects your profile from being accessed from a non-logged user. So let me type here profile, try to access here, nothing will happen. Why? Because I'm not logged in. So it checked inside this function, we should check the data that is inside the token and check if it is available, or if it is still alive. Then you can access this profile page. If not, then you will be forwarded to the login page and will not be able to access these this page. And yeah, that's it. This is your task for next for the Friday. The rest of the tasks, yeah, I mean, and I will share the solution or the function of this is logged in function. I will share it with you next after you deliver next after next Friday. So as I said, your last task is to create this profile page. I mean, like to display it. You already can create it by copying this code, but only you have to edit what is inside, like the content to show the user, the logged in user here. Okay, and the details of the user, of the logged in user to show them here. Yeah, that's it. Hope you do it properly, and see you next Friday.